Hello, hi, this is the third video in the Integr8tor automation series. This video talks about level 2, which is custom flow control. What does custom flow control allow us to do? Well, we learned that in the level 1 automation video, we showed you how we can run scripts that take particular actions when a job is getting into a particular location. Those locations, however, that is after the job has been processed. Custom flow control allows you to take action between the statuses of jobs. More particularly, Integr8tor does two major flows, or parts of the flow, which is auto input and auto analysis. What we can do with custom flow control is take action at several stages in between those two parts of the flow. The way this works is that if we take this example, this body link IR switch Gerber, it ended in check to-dos, and when we look at the to-dos, we are getting a message about that Integr8tor would like us to verify the plating of drill tool number 4. So obviously we can go in there in the job editor, we can look at it and we can say, well, what is tool number 4 and why are you telling me that you're questioning the plating? Well, if we look at where those holes are, they are actually isolated on both layers. They're not touching any other copper except for the big pads that are going through it. So our integrator says, maybe these things are supposed to be non-plated. So what you would do currently would be that you would say, well, there's actually no action to take. You can do accept all, and it will continue on in the flow. However, with custom flow control, we can make that decision for you. For example, in this case, we actually have a netlist file that is part of the data set, and the netlist compare past. Well, if the net compare past, that means that the plating of this tool is not affecting the netlist, and we can say, we're going to auto accept that. The way that works is that the custom flow control allows us to do things after auto input, after the analysis, after it has done the workup, and after it before the auto input. So in this particular case, we'll make an example of how we're going to go and tell it, use the CFC TDA demo.bsh script. So we'll save that, and what we're going to do for this one is we're just going to resubmit the job, and we'll see that we are getting a different behavior now. Resubmit job, not changing any other parameters, and we let it run to conclusion. And then we will see that rather than getting the status check to-dos, we will actually be ending up in the ready to quote location. So while that is running, we will have a look at how this looks like. Well, there's basically a custom flow control script that controls this. In there, we can look at everything from that has been analyzed by Integr8tor, and we can make decisions based on that. So in this particular case, we're looking at, do we have net compare errors? Do we have shorts? Do we have opens? If we don't, then the net compare is okay. And then the next thing what we'll do is that, do we have any messages about plating? One of the other messages that could be the case is functional copper touching outline. Well, that's another one that we can make a decision on based on the netlist. So what we'll do is, once that's done, we are making a decision and we say, plating messages were accepted as the net compare passed. And what we also do in the script is that we introduce another item that the custom flow control can take care of, is adding information in the comments field that we have in the QED report. So the job's finished. Let's go have a look. And you see that it now says ready to quote. In addition to that, we put in a comment to make it clear that there was a plating to do and that it was accepted as an Atlas compare passes. So that was one example of a custom flow control script where you can put in additional logic that makes decision for you and pushes the job further along. So plating questions or to-dos, and we have not compare, that is okay. Well, don't worry, move on. We can also do things like look at what the analysis is and then, for example, put the job in a status that says critical issue. We found some like parameters that are less than certain items, right? Certain minimum criteria. Let's have a look at another example. Here is a job that we've submitted into the queue and it goes to ready to quote. There are no to-dos, but it turns out that this job actually has selective gold. Like in the README file, it says selective gold present. We also have a picture of what the gold needs to be. But when we look at it, obviously, these are not gold fingers because they are not going to the edge of the board. They are selective gold. And without the information available to it, Integr8tor cannot give you the gold. Yeah. So for that, we're gonna switch on a different script, and this one works right away after the auto input has been taken care of and after we've already analyzed what the layers are that we have, and we're gonna take some action at that point. Because why would we proceed to the analysis if we don't have the selective gold defined? Yeah. So we're gonna do, in this case, we make it demo.bsh. Yeah. So you see that this is in the custom flow control of the user preferences. We are saving this one. And now we're gonna resubmit this job. And so we take the same data set. So I'm just filling out, we'll take the same values that we had. We do a submit. Yeah, we do this with the web submit method, which has been covered in the submit methods. If you need more information on this, contact your local support channel. We'll be happy to walk you through these. And any of the scripts, by the way, as well. Any of the videos that we've been showing, if you want to have more information, we suggest to contact your local support channel, and they will be more than happy to work with you to see if this is an option that you already have or that you should acquire, and how you can take action on with these items for your own workflow. So we are looking at the TPA, selective gold, so it's coming in there again as a second time. And now let's have a look at the TWU. It's actually finished, and let's have a look first. So you see it now puts it in a custom defined location that says define selective gold. So it has not finished with the analysis. It stopped after auto input because it wants us to define the selective gold first. And how we're going to define the selective gold is the topic of a different video. So we'll just give you a little teaser. It's going to be the video about Ucamco Workflow Edition. So for now, this is where we have a look here. So what are we doing in the TWU demo script? We are actually looking at Did the customer tell us that we have selective gold, which wasn't, in our case, was done via setting this to yes. So it is part of what integrator received as information. And then we're looking at layers that, in this particular case, we want to look at, do we have gold mask layers, which in my setup happens to be SG. They start with SG. If they are there, then it can proceed on. If they are not there, then we need to divert and stop the job and tell the user, you know, you need to define the selective goals. And this one already sets the comment, but that's how we're going to do it. We're going to create those selective masks with Ucamco. So those are two simple examples on how you can use the custom flow control level 2 automation to really make Integrator follow exactly the flow that you would like to, or that you can do. It's very powerful. Hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching. Take care.